All right, guys, welcome to Syncretism Virtual Academy. And what a way to have David Weiss give his first lesson live. And so we can take phone calls, questions, etc. Just get rid of all those little doubts and little knotty questions that you may have. This is going to be super. So welcome, David. How you going?
Thanks, Santos. I'm glad to be here. Excited for the discussion. So, my favorite thing is talking to people that think flat Earth is ridiculous. That's the best. The other one is talking to people that know the Earth is flat, but have questions like, how do I explain the sunset on an equinox, or how do I explain this? And then I like working that way with people. So I'm hoping we have some people that are aware, that have some questions, things that, maybe they've gotten thrown at them from some trolls or whatever, and are looking for a good answer.
Yeah, exactly. And it improves your own skills as well. I like when people are thinkers and they're on the fence, or they just make a genuine inquiry and they say, how does this work? And in the process of replying, I actually expand my knowledge on that particular subject, and I go deeper, and it just confirms more to me that we're on the right track, So it's great when you have that interaction. Let's hope today is going to be like that, right?
Fantastic.
Sure.
Where do you want to start? I mean, we can go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I like the image you showed of the sun as it was setting, and then it just stopped for about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah. So that I call that the sun fade out, and I recorded it 7 times now, and it has to be filmed over land, not over water, when it's below freezing, so there's no humidity in the air on a super clear day. And the sun, it went down, down, down in like 5 minutes. Now, if the Earth was spinning, it would have to keep on going, but it didn't. It went down, and it stopped right there. And it sat there for 10 minutes. This is sped up 2,500%, maybe even faster, I forget. And then it just faded away. Now, my friends at the beach saw the sunset from the bottom up 10 minutes earlier, right? And this is a good place to start, actually, where how we can most of the time zoom in and bring a ship back into focus, right? A ship that has appeared to disappear, zoom in, we can bring it back in. That's because of angular size. So you have your land and you have your sky, and then in the distance, it merges together. That's so you have a ship in between that sandwich, and you can't see it. You zoom in on that, you increase the angular size, and now you can see the ship again. So the flat Earth haters, globe trolls, whatever you want to call them, they'll go, well, try that with the sun. Well, the sun doesn't work that way. The sun is more like this. You have your cloud deck, and 20, 30 miles away, the clouds merge with the horizon. So as the sun goes away, it's going beyond this atmospheric deck of opacity, right? And once it's behind there, so if this is, here you have your land, here you have your sky deck, it all comes together and becomes opaque. So when you're looking at those clouds, not the ones over your head, 30 miles in the distance, there you're looking across all of them, and it just becomes opaque. Even if there are no clouds, the atmosphere becomes opaque. When you look across the atmosphere, it becomes opaque. You have a celestial object. As that celestial object moves away, it goes below that, and no amount of magnification will bring it back because it's behind something physical, something opaque.
Exactly. What about infrared, though? Infrared would be able to do it.
Well, if infrared could push through the atmosphere, yeah, it might be able to bring it back a little farther. But most of the time when the sun goes away, it's going behind some pretty thick, pretty opaque atmosphere. So imagine a day where you have cumulus clouds all spread out, and they're all sitting on that deck, right? The ones directly above you are 10,000 feet in the air, whatever it is. 30 miles away over the ocean, they've merged with the ocean. So when you're looking at those clouds over there, one, they're at your eye level, and two, all of the clouds are all lined up behind it. So it just becomes opaque very quickly. And that's what the sun sets behind, right? And so, you know, infrared on a clear day can see land farther, but once the sun sets, you know, 99% of the time, it's because it's going behind something opaque that infrared won't go through.
There's an Italian genius, which I've mentioned many times. He died in 2004. He was a colleague of Marconi. They worked on the radio together. And Pierluigi Gina said that he's a stationary earther, by the way. He is famous all over Italy. They call him crazy, but many times on the front of the newspaper, you see his face and you see above him, La terra è ferma, which means the earth is fixed. The earth does not move. And he kept repeating that all his life, all his life, all his life. He was known as a genius, but they laughed at him for saying that the earth is stationary. Anyway, he proved it. I've got a video on my channel where I translated him speaking, where he shows with strobe lights in his laboratory and proves that the earth is stationary. See, we don't have Sagnac's interferometer. We don't have Michelson Morley, Michelson Gale, George Airy, James Bradley, all those guys. They didn't film anything, but he filmed scientific proof, not evidence, proof that the earth is stationary. Anyway, he said that once he showed the mayor of his town and a whole bunch of engineers and scientists the sun by night. I don't know what he was using, but he had some technology where he showed them the sun by night. He showed them the sun going round clockwise around the earth.
From an elevation, maybe, or, you know, it would have to be on a super clear day, like the sunset I just showed a moment ago, which was in Croatia. This is super clear, super dry. And when the sun goes beyond your limit of view, you might be able to zoom it back in. It depends on how much atmospheric blockage there is. Yep,
for sure. But nonetheless, he would have had some technology beyond infrared or something. And he reckons he showed them, you know, it didn't light up or anything, but they could see the shape of the sun as it went around the earth. This is incredible, you know. So it just goes to show it doesn't set. It just goes away from our.
Just as we see it, it's so clear once you get rid of the programming and see that the sun is circling around us. Here's something I like to show. So in the center here, right? This isn't the exact model. I think do you believe there's some sort of firmament over us, something physical?
Yep.
Okay. I do too. It's more like a dinner plate rather than a salad bowl. Okay. An upside down dinner plate. That's my opinion. But that's not what this is about. So in here we live in the inner north. This is the inner north. And we're in anything inside of the Tropic of Cancer. I call us, we're in the Arctic. We're in the Arctic Circle.
Yeah, David, hang on.
Lost your audio.
Daniel's saying we're not live.
Hold on a second, because nobody's seeing your stream right now.
No one's seeing the stream. So we're streaming?
Yep.
Great. All right, David. Sorry for all that, folks. Back again. So we're talking about the sun. And I mentioned Pierluigi Gina, who showed many prominent people in his town the sun by night, to quote his words. So he must have had some kind of frequency emission type camera or some kind of a filter, and it
makes sense to me, because the sun that we see, I don't believe it's a physical object. It's a focus point of frequency, of energy. And as it moves into the distance, that frequency must change. And it could get to a point where our eyes just can't see it. Its light can't reach us. And so if you change the frequency, you know, our light spectrum that we view is this, when the whole spectrum is this.
Exactly.
So that makes a lot of sense.
That's actually how Bhagavad Gita says, or I think it's Srimad Bhagavatam, where it says that the sun always rotates over the earth, and then when it gets away from our vision, it makes things dark. Now, I experienced this myself in an aeroplane once. I was flying from Perth eastward to Melbourne in 2002, way before I was even woke.
Yeah.
I was a good little Jehovah's Witness back then. And guess what I saw? Everyone in the airplane saw it. Everybody was gasping. They were going crazy. Everything in front of us was
daylight.
pitch black.
Okay.
180 degrees. Pitch black. We're looking in front and it's dark as. Everything behind us, the sun is still there, not set yet.
Daylight. Yeah. So I have videos on my app that show that. I actually witnessed it myself a couple times. I think it happens around here in September, October, where in front of you, it's pitch black and behind you, it's light. This is just a snapshot from a balloon, and it's pitch black over here and it's daylight over here. And there's really, and when you watch the video, you can see where the light just stops, because the sun, daylight and sunlight are two different things. The sun, in my opinion, fluoresces the gases to a certain point, and then it stops. It's just like holding a Tesla coil around a whole bunch of bulbs. Some of them will light up. The ones in the distance don't light up. And that's how we have our daylight and our sunlight.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the sun circling. Let me just share my screen for a second. So we live in the inner north, right? Mm-hmm. So anything inside of Capricorn, the Tropic of Cancer, we're the Arctics, right? We live in the Arctic Circle. The real Arctic Circle, they say it's closer, but anything inside of Capricorn is in the Arctic, because the sun, what's it doing? It's arcing around us.
That's right.
Okay. And then anything outside of Capricorn, out here in Antarctica, southern Australia, is the Antarctic, because the sun is antarcing.
Right.
It's not arcing around us. And people say, here's one I'd like to talk about. I've been getting it a lot. What's funny is people throw the same questions at me from all across the plane, from all different avenues. All of a sudden, everyone's saying, how does the sun speed up? If the Tropic of Capricorn is bigger than the Tropic of Cancer, what's making the sun speed up?
Yep.
Okay. And what proof do you have of it? Well, the way I look at it is the sun that we see is a projection of the real source, which is within or above the firmament, however you want to word it, that's fine. So here's an experiment you do. You just get a flashlight, you stand up and you flash that light, the beam of light, 3 feet in the floor in front of you, and you spin around one revolution per minute. And now you just drew a circle with a radius of 3 feet in 1 minute, right? Now spinning at the same speed, angle that light just a tiny little angle farther, so it's 6 feet out, and turn around at the same speed, and you just drew a 6 foot radius circle in the same amount of time, and you didn't speed up or slow down.
Exactly.
So what evidence would we have of this? So in I believe it's in when the sun is near December, November, December, January, when the sun is near Capricorn, in places like Africa, South Africa, Central Africa, when the sun sets there, 5 minutes later, you can't see your hand in front of your face. Okay.
Yeah.
It's pitch black in 5 minutes. The sun sets, you can't see your hand in front of your face. Right. So 6 months later, at the same equal latitude north, you should have the same thing. But 6 months later, when the sun sets, it's light for 2 more hours. Okay. Yeah. And that's because the sun, let me share my screen again. The sun, when it's in here in near Capricorn, Cancer, let me jump up forward. So out there, whoops, here we go. March, April, May. So in June, it's going right by the United States here. I'm here in Connecticut. The sun kind of just arcs around me. It's not getting that much farther away from me that fast versus 6 months later when if I'm out here, where am I? I can't see my thing. If I'm out, out here, the sun is going much faster. The sunlight is moving away faster.
Oh.
There you go.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. We talked about the sun fade out. Did everyone see that or not?
Yes, we saw that. You showed that one.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if people saw it. Go ahead. You have a question or something you want to bring up?
No, not necessarily. Just that I did want to say that Pierluigi Ghina is his experiment. Anyone can check it out. He also explains another phenomena, which is what we all often get, the Coriolis effect, this supposed Coriolis effect. Well, he explains that the ether is turning, or what he calls the sun's energy. The earth is stationary, and the ether is turning at 15 degrees every hour. And with it is also a pushing down. It is actually pushing down to the earth. So he says that's why every gun barrel has a spiral inside it, inscribed inside it, so that the bullets actually turn and they actually overcome that the pressure to go downward and stay straight by the spinning.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's very, very, very interesting.
And the whole spinning of the earth, creating storms south of the tropics, so north and south of the tropics, spinning in opposite directions, it doesn't make full sense to me. On a flat earth, if you take the wake of the electromagnetic wake of the sun and the moon that are going around, it's just like pushing a paddle through some soup, through some water, you get alternating vortices. Now, if the Coriolis effect due to the spin of the earth was true, you would never have a counter-rotating storm north or south of the equator going the opposite direction, but it happens all the time.
That's right.
It happens, which is impossible, right? So it's just in the ether, the electromagnetic wake of the sun and the moon, causing these counter-rotating vortices.
Yeah, if you understand magnetic fields, you can understand that so easily. The problem is people don't understand that everything is electromagnetic waves. There is nothing but electromagnetic waves. Water is electromagnetic, all atoms, the sun is, etc. So once you understand that the field is the ether and that the sun is the field perturbator, all it's doing is perturbating the field, the ether, and the light travels through the ether. That's the medium through which light travels. Thank you, Ken Wheeler, another instructor here at the Academy. So the greatest magnetician alive. And we were very happy to have him. But I learned so much about him, about magnetism through him. And so the sun is perturbing the field and creating waves. So as it rips through the field or whatever, or its focal point, because it is a projection, well, it is going to produce counter-rotating spirals or little whirlpools in the water or in the air. That's just how magnetism works. So it's not even a question. It's nothing to even give any credence to.
Right. And in my app, if you look on the air currents, and you go up to, we have these circular air currents, which are unlike the crazy sine wave they tell us is going across the ball. If you watch these little currents, those currents will have counter-rotating vortices on both sides of them.
Yep.
So you see all of the stuff, and it's just right there in front of your face. It's common sense versus nonsense. They've taught us to just accept nonsense because the guy in a bow tie told it to you, right?
Exactly. It's because it's the science.
Yeah.
You guys are science deniers.
Science deniers. No, we're science users. We don't just use the word science. The best answer I get from ballers is what science? They're like, all of it and all of physics too. Can you cite something? No, you'll just deny it. That's their best argument. Best argument ever. So you also have to remember that, like, hey, I've got $1 worth of change in my pocket. Is it 4 quarters? A baller would say, yes, it can only be 4 quarters. There's no other combination. There's no other way that you could have $1 in your pocket unless it's 4 quarters. But there's many reasons that we see things, from boats going over the horizon to the sun setting. One, the sun will set behind the atmospheric deck. The sun will set behind a row of trees or a skyline that all is way over your head, but in the distance, it looks like it's at eye level. Everything goes to eye level. The top of Mount Everest will go to your eye level in a very short distance. And when the sun goes beyond it, it's setting behind something physical, something optical, or it's an electromagnetic throw. It could just be beyond your reach, is like what you were talking about. And my sun fade outs show it kind of a combination of that. It's disappearing into the soup of a super clear day, which is still soup. Like, you look through a nice, beautiful pane of glass, it's transparent, no problem. Mm-hmm. You don't think you're blocking anything. Stack 50 of them together and tell them if you can see through it. You can't, right? So that's the atmosphere.
Exactly. It's not transparent. People need to understand that there's different pressures in the atmosphere and different elements.
And then also people say, well, if you have your disk, ball, sun and moon, going around, it would get smaller and smaller. Well, sometimes it does. Most of the time it doesn't.
That's right.
For a couple of reasons. One, because the point of where it's disappearing is not that much farther than the height it is above you. So it's really not having that opportunity to shrink, but the air has water in it. The air magnifies things as it goes away. This candle isn't going down. It's just going away, right? And it's being magnified by this Fresnel lens, which is representing the atmosphere. But sometimes, excuse me, sometimes when you have perfectly dry conditions, you'll get a fade out. Like this was a soldier in Afghanistan filmed this, and it's super dry, super clear. And the sun is just, it's super sped up too. It's just not going down. Like, I'm not falling over backwards watching the sun go down. The sun is clearly just going away.
Yep.
And then right in the end there, it's kind of losing its throw. It's also hitting that atmospheric deck. And maybe there's some land features there that are hiding it. So it's going behind, disappearing for a whole list of reasons.
Yes. A whole list of reasons.
A whole list of reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Like a rainbow is a projection. It disappears. The rainbow is there, but it's not there. But yes, it is. I can see it. But no, it's not actually there.
Yeah.
It's a projection. And the sun is just a condensed rainbow. It's white light, which means it has to be a condensed rainbow. So it's similar to the rainbow. You'll never be able to go to the sun.
We all see the sun in a position relative to ourselves. I always say we have a personal relationship with the sun.
Yes.
Sounds a little biblical, right?
It is biblical, and it is scientific as well.
Yeah. What is this? Let me ask you a question. All of this, sun worshiping's evil. Where did that come from? Like, the sun gives us everything. It gives us all of the electricity, all of the energy, all of the food, all of everything. What's wrong with appreciating the sun?
Exactly. Nothing at all. It is sacrilegious to not give the sun its due honor every day.
Every day.
Sacrilegious. How dare we not pay attention to the sun every single day and give it honor for the work that it is doing? It doesn't ask you for any money. It doesn't ask you for any favors. It doesn't, dim its light out for people it doesn't like. It doesn't stop going. It keeps going and going and going, and yet it is the source of light, the source of life, the source of everything, and it's evil to acknowledge that. This is how stupid people have come. The Jesuits started this lie when they started globalism in 1540. They started the global agenda, global warming, global economy, global governance, global community, global lockdowns, global religion, blah, 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 and there is no Santa Globe. So what they did was they knew that they had to flip the cosmologies of all the people that they were going to invade, overturn them, and invert all of their teachings. So ancestor worship, bad; solar worship, bad; and everybody was doing that, and still are to this day. Here in Mexico, they don't listen to the Jesuits and the Catholic. They just continue on worshipping Tonatiuh, Ometeotl, Quetzalcoatl, Viracocha. They don't give a shit about what the Catholic Church says about it's evil, and they're still going. They're still doing their ancient religions.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I learn more stuff about that every day. When I watch your stuff, you blow me away, and I'm like, oh, I totally get that now. Like when I first started watching you pre-Flat Earth for both of us, I'm like, whoa, this guy's stuff. And now it's like, it makes perfect sense. Everything you say, everything, it makes perfect sense.
Exactly. Much more so with the correct model, right?
And here's one. People, the globers will say, how does an eclipse happen on your flat Earth, right? I'm like, how does an eclipse happen on your globe Earth, right? Here, you have a moon and with a sun 400 times bigger and 400 times farther away. Okay, that's, and so they look like they're the same size, right? I'll give that to you. What are the odds that they will line up perfectly for us? The odds of that are so slim that I can't even calculate them. It's in the sextillions or whatever. It's even more than that. The odds of that happening once are so slim. The odds of it happening twice are ridiculous in a beehive universe, but it happens every year. It happens every year in different places. Your microphone's off. And it happens, it repeats the same exact cycle every 18 years.
Yeah, the metatonic. Yeah. Yep. Cycle.
That alone proves that we are not moving and the things in the sky are a perfect clock. It's a calendar, right? The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months, or the months. The stars keep track of the years. And then we have other things that keep track of the alignments, everything keep track of larger cycles.
Yep. I've explained how eclipses happen. You can just go to any free astrological website and you can put the date forward a year, 2 years, and you can watch. All you have to do is know the right ascension of meridian and the declination of the moon, and you can predict it. You can teach this to a kindergarten child, how to predict an eclipse. But what you said before about the odds of that happening, you've got to take into account too that both the moon supposedly has an elliptical orbit around the Earth, and the differential's about 30,000 kilometers, and the sun has the Earth is orbiting at an ellipse as well, and the differential is 5 million miles. They tell you that the sun is 5 million miles closer to the Earth at the Tropic of Capricorn than it is at the Tropic of Cancer. So if we've got the Earth is doing an oval around the sun and the moon is doing an oval around the Earth, and yet every time they eclipse, they're always the same size.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The sun, most people know this, but I like throwing it out there. The sun travels 6 months into Cancer, 6 months out to Capricorn, and it makes this beautiful, path in and out. The moon does the same thing, but every 28 days.
Exactly.
Right. So people know about the 24-hour sun in the Arctic, in Norway, and in Alaska. You have your 24-hour sun in June and July, where the sun never gets far enough away to set. Well, that happens with the moon also every month for a week. It doesn't set. Okay, in the inner north. Now in the outer south, It's totally different. In the outer South, you have your midnights, you have no sun. You have 24 hours of darkness for days and weeks. That's because the sun is too far away. But when the sun comes out there, you never have a 24-hour sun. You do have 24 hours of daylight when the sun is way out near the dome, way out near Capricorn. And that's because the sun's light is wrapping around the dome. Have you let me find my little model as a go ahead. Do you want to say something?
Yep, exactly. It wraps around. It's just the way light is curved linear. Light is curved linear. It is not going in a straight line, and it's not traveling either.
And we can model this. You can take a glass bowl and this dome and move the light and watch. This is the real observations on Earth according to day, star day and night or date and time, whatever it's called. And you see how it wraps around. So if you're here, you have your midnight daylight, not sun. No one's seen the sun. There's 4 ridiculously fake videos that we have completely torn apart showing the midnight sun. Forget it. It's so stupid. The Crow from Crow 777 Radio, he calls it Crow's Law. Anything fascinating can and will be filmed in high def. Okay. It's never been filmed. It's just filmed. It's just totally fake. You can see the layering. You can see I don't know, it's crazy stuff that they do. But isn't it odd that it's making the same shapes as what we actually observe? Right. Exactly. And this is that I have this glass dome on top of a white rug and I have a pen light and I'm moving it across the top and you watch and you got this little sun it looks really great in person. It actually looks like a little sun inside, but it goes, and as I'm moving away, it goes down, 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 and then it stops and it fades out. It never goes below, right? So I kind of looked at, we see within our personal atmospheric dome, I'm bringing it across and you'll see that it'll just go down and then it'll stop until it gets farther away and then it just fades out. Now we assume it goes underneath the ball if you're a baller, but this is how I see that we view the sun. So, I'm in my personal atmospheric dome here and somebody a mile away or 3,000 miles away is in theirs. Yes. I think the sun that we see when it rises, my guess is it's less than 100 miles away, maybe a lot less. And so when it sets, we'll say less than 100 miles away. That's a 200 miles for the whole day. Okay. Yes. That's why it moves so slowly through the sky, because it's moving slowly through the sky.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
You know why things do what you see them doing? Is because that's what they're doing.
Yeah. The other thing is everything above us is transcendental. They're not of the same elements. They try to tell you that they're of the same elements. Yeah, fundamentally, but they are attenuated. All the esoteric occultists knew this. They knew that the sun was of the elements of the earth, but attenuated. So, in a different state. So you could say plasma. See, the moon is clearly, to me, some kind of plasma of probably silver or krypton or argon. It looks like it has all of those elements in it, and it's just a plasma state.
I can say one thing absolutely positive about the moon. It is the biggest mystery of all.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the fertility of souls being delivered and removed from this realm that we're in.
Yeah. Well, I always say to Globies, the moon rock that the astronauts landed on disappears every month for 60 hours.
And nobody can see it ever. No one's ever seen it. And during a total eclipse, when you're completely blocking out the sun, well, if you were on the moon looking at the Earth, you have a full Earth, just like we have a full moon from that point of view. So the shinier, bigger, 6 times bigger Earth should be lighting up the moon, because the moon, that dusty, dirty ball, lights up our world so bright that we can, navigate in the dark, And when we look at the moon, it's a friggin' light. It's not this dusty, dirty ball reflecting light, defying every law of physics, the inverse square law of light, just everything. It's so stupid. And
exactly.
So with a regular camera, with your naked eye, with a telescope, with an observatory, somebody should be able to zoom in on the moon during an eclipse and see all of its features easily.
Yep. Exactly.
And no one has ever seen it.
They should have actually filmed the landing of the rockets or whatever, the moon lander when it went there in 1969. We should have been able to have gotten big telescopes and actually filmed it. You see, where's all that? None of that. Doesn't exist.
It's so crazy. The whole moon. You know what's funny is I discovered the Earth was flat before I discovered NASA was fake. That's crazy, right? But the people, like, I was in the Skype chat and we're all talking, and someone said, "Oh, the moon landing." I was like, "You don't think we went to the moon?" And everyone froze. You know, everyone, like, there's 10 of us. They're all like, "You think we went to the moon?" And I was like, "Well, I've never really looked into it, you know." And then it took me 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yep. Exactly. That's
10 minutes to realize NASA is a bunch of snakes.
It's a no-brainer. Look at that cake mixer that they show you. That 3 men lived in for 3 days to get up there. They with all the farting and pooing that they were doing, and
the homeless tweaker shelter, I call it.
Lunch so they don't starve to death. They actually bought their golf clubs, their dune buggy, and their, I don't know, super iPhone or some kind of a phone so they could ring Dickie and ask him about Watergate. "Hey, Dickie, how's Watergate down there? We're up on the moon and playing golf, and in a few minutes we'll just get on the dune buggy." And that cake mixer looks like you can only put a kitten in there or a monkey or a small animal, and yet they brought all of that luggage.
Look at this thing. This is what they brought us. Can you see this? Yeah. This is and the astronauts say that the walls were only as thick as a couple layers of tinfoil and Mylar, right? But this has got to hold in pressure, right? You've seen like a railroad tanker, when you lower the pressure 50%, it crushes, right? This is what they show us, and people will defend this.
Yep.
Where would you order the parts from this? From Lockheed Grumman or from like Bed Bath and Beyond and Michaels Arts and Crafts?
Walmart.
Yeah.
Bob the Builders or, Depot.
Crazy.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, man. It's just inconceivable. And yet that is how much people have fooled. So much to the point that they will call you a science denier. Oh, it's the science. Well, what do you mean vaccines? Well, don't you know your history? We eliminated polio with the vaccine. Well, no, we didn't. We just changed the name and the protocol of diagnosis, and it continues to kill people. Vaccines didn't do anything. So it's so easy to fool the masses.
It's shocking.
This COVID intervention has really, really opened everyone's eyes now. That really everybody now can see how easy it is.
Not everybody, but yes, many are waking up. But I wake up every day and I'm astounded that people can't see it. That some people can't see it yet. Mm-hmm. Some people.
Yep. It is astounding.
It is mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing.
I'm just so happy that all my family have converted. I mean, all I had to do was speak to my family because they're all intelligent for 5 or 10 minutes and they all understood, all of my family. I'm just so proud of that they just, that makes sense. Yep, that's true. That's correct. I'll check that. I'll do my homework. All my family. And
Santos, the question that triggers me the most, or just is the most shocking to me, is, well, what does it matter? There's more important things going on in the world. There are very important things going on in the world, but the reason they're getting away from it is because we all have our heads stuck up our rear ends. We don't know where we are. We don't know the power that we have. We don't know that, we're at the center of creation. We don't know that nobody has control over us other than in our imagination, right? We don't know that because of this lie. This is the lie that shortens our transmitting of our desires, of our wants, of our manifestation abilities. If you're on a ball, you've limited your thoughts. You've limited what's available. We're running out of water. False. Look up primary water. There's infinite water. We're running out of food. Ridiculous. Take a seed, stick it in the ground. Water will fall from the sky and food will come up. Okay. We're overpopulated. Sorry, everyone could live in Texas with plenty of room. Okay. We're afraid of nuclear bombs. Kim Jong-un. Sorry, that's a hoax. Nuclear bombs don't exist. Right. Where an asteroid could take us out, like it did the dinosaurs. Double lie. There are no asteroids. There were no dinosaurs. Okay. Maybe there was some big lizards, but not that long ago. And they have us living in fear. They're steering our minds with the news, north, east, west, south. Okay. And they're keeping us in fear, and they're getting us to willingly give it all away because they're not allowed to take it from us.
Yep.
Right. So we give it away. So what does it matter? This matters more than anything right now.
I agree. That's
more than anything.
Yep. That is my number one thing. The most pernicious, hideous lie is the Santa Ball lie. It's and you can't even say to a Globie that their ancient ancestors will be rolling in their graves because they were all flat earthers and stationary. The same ancient ancestors that built the Gothic cathedrals and the pyramids and all of that, they will be rolling in their grave. Oh yeah, but but they were stupid. I don't care. I don't care that my ancestors were stupid. We've got science now. It's the science, right?
Santos, all of our history is a complete lie. You're fully aware of that. You've seen my interview with Ruth.
Yep.
This lie is less than 100 years old. In Connecticut public schools, they were teaching flat earth in the 1920s.
I saw that.
Right? And all over the world, we found newspaper articles, all sorts of stuff, right? So this lie is super new. It's super new, right? New. And now they're literally trying to shut it all down. And if this is our opportunity right now. You know how you say now is the time. There's no time to wait. Well, guess what? Yeah, that now is the time. Today might even be the time because tomorrow it might be too late at this point.
Exactly.
And we're at the point where there's no screwing around. You need to do everything you can to take care of yourself, to take care of the people around you, and anyone that's willing to listen. People don't want to listen. That's fine. That's their journey. Okay. My journey is, we're awake and aware. I'm telling you, the last 2 years have been the best years of my life. Crazy, right? COVID world, best years of my life. Okay. It's because you know why? Because I love roller coasters, right? And I chose to be on this one at this time.
Yep.
Right. And if you loosen up a little bit and don't brace for impact and think and use your mind, you can really make this world what it should be. This entire thing can be given back to us. We can take it back overnight. You just have to put on your big boy pants, wake up, and not be afraid of what other people think.
Exactly. That's why I always remind people, because I get so many people saying, why do you put so much energy on the flat earth? The earth is going to hell with COVID and people are dying everywhere. And all you think about, Santos, is your stupid flat earth. What's the matter with you? Well, that's how we get rid of your enemies, who are called the globalists.
Right.
So they've already identified the enemy. There's only one enemy, and they already have a name, and everyone is cussing them and calling them out. They are the globalists. Do you think perhaps their false Copernican model of the globe is also our enemy? Maybe. Do you think that the globalists, the actual enemy might be hiding in the word globalist, and it might be the globe? And that's because you are supporting the global agenda, because they're telling people, well, you have to protect everybody on the globe. You have to get the vaccine because we're going to protect everybody else. You see, this is global thinking, global.
So, think about this. Your inner thoughts, your subconscious thoughts really control your ability to function. Like if you have like crazy subconscious thoughts, you just become a lunatic, and you can't function well. So here are your choices. One, Santos, you are on solid ground that's not moving. You are at the center of creation. You are super important. You are a powerful being that has incredible manifestation abilities. So that's your inner belief. That's your inner subconscious stance. How well can you deal with what's going on in the world from that position? Very well. Okay. Now, if your inner belief from childhood is that you are spinning out of control in 4 different directions at once, where an asteroid could take you out at any moment, you're twirling and whirling and swirling through a solar system where, a star could explode, an asteroid could hit you, in all these directions, you're insignificant, you have no power, there is no God, or a distant at best. How well are you going to deal with your daily situations if that's at the core of your belief system?
Impossible.
It's impossible. And that's where people are operating from, out of control, spinning. This is what you're doing right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is, and then they tell us things that are complete opposites to what common sense will tell us, what science will tell us. You can't have a melted magnet. Well, they tell us the core of the earth is a melted magnet. Okay. You heat a magnet up before it melts, it loses its magnetism. Okay. But they tell you the opposite of everything, right? So this is what's going on in your subconscious. How are you going to function? How are you going to use your thoughts clear and concisely and send them out in the right direction when you're spinning and lost?
Yep. It's the big, big lie. And the cheek of these people to say, oh, you think you're on a pizza or a flat earth? That's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. Well, if you actually didn't know anything about the earth at all and someone came to you and said, look, we're going to take you somewhere to live somewhere else. Would you like to live on this ball that's traveling at 650 million miles an hour? Or would you rather be standing vertically on a horizontal plane which never moves? You pick. I know what I'd be picking because I'm intelligent. I would get on that horizontal plane that never moves because I know that I'm secure, safe, and it never moves. Right?
Right. And you are part of that. You're not a bacteria growing on a ball flying through an infinite universe. We are part of this Earth system. We're the Earth and us, we're all one. And all of our power comes together. I don't believe humans could live off of the Earth.
Yep.
Okay.
See, yeah. You know what you're showing me there, that wall. Once I had someone message in one of my, in the comments, well, what about this, the edge, show us the edge. And I showed them that and they said, oh, Santos, you're resorting to videos and the internet for your information. You're showing me a video, a grainy video at that of the fifth, it looks like it was filmed in the 50s of this ice wall. I'm thinking to myself, well, what are you doing? You're on the internet. That's what you've got. You've got videos on the internet. You've got...
There's no denying that there's an edge. Okay. Now a baller will tell you that's the edge at the bottom of on a continent at the bottom of the ball. I'll tell you, this is that wall was around here, but no one has ever circumnavigated in any reasonable amount of time. Here's, and I say this, I don't know if you've heard this. This is how we can put the flat earth to bed, the whole discussion to bed in one day and not for millions of dollars. Very easy, undeniable, unfakeable. Get 2 airplanes, get a bunch of people over here on the base in Antarctica, fuel up the airplanes. One of them flies 1,000 feet off the ground so you can see the ground and just follows the shoreline around. So me, you, Bill Nye, the lion guy with the bow tie, you got professors, you got everyone on the plane, everyone's looking out the left-hand window and you just follow the shoreline, keep it in view the whole time. Right? So you can kind of see how fast you're going because you can see the ground. You're not too far above it. And that know that you're going over here. The other plane goes this way. Everyone's looking out the right window. 6,500 miles later, the 2 planes will meet.
Right.
Can't be done because it's never been done because the Earth isn't made like that. The last person to try it was Captain Cook, and he went over 60,000 miles. Yes. Okay. So take him off the table. Doesn't matter what his thing, because maybe his logs were changed, whatever. Just prove us that it's 13,000 miles around. 2 airplanes goes around it. We can have it done in one day. Everyone could be home for dinner if we leave early in the morning. And that would prove it. It'll never be done because it can't be done.
Exactly. I say the same thing about the North Pole. When I was a little boy, I heard about explorer Joe Blow, who went and put his flag on the North Pole, and then Tom Dick, and he went and did it, and then Bruce, whatever, and then this other guy, and so many explorers. Let's go and get Elon Musk's car, and rather than flying it around, why don't we get him to fly it onto the North Pole, land right on the North Pole, get 4 cameras, and let's film the North Pole going around its center, right? Let's just do that. I mean, that would put an end to the whole matter instantly, but they can't. They can't do that. They can't show us the North Pole. Why is that?
Yeah.
Now, why is that?
Yeah, and I remember when I was a kid, they wheeled the televisions into the classroom to show us the explorers that went to the North Pole. They went there with their dogs, and it's getting darker and colder, and they're running out of food. I think they had to eat one of the dogs or something. Just craziness. They're all getting there. And I'm like, why aren't the cameraman suffering like these guys are suffering? Like their fingers are freezing. And then they get there, like, they got the GPS, like 3, 2, we're here. And they're like, yay. And I'm like, now they got to go all the way back, but they never show us the trip back. And basically that's just to brainwash you to say, so no one will ever say, I want to go to the North Pole. And that is like, my whole life is like, I've never had any desire to go to the North Pole because I saw what it's like. It's horrible. It's dark. It's cold. It's horrible.
I was on a show with Sasha Stone, Brooks Agnew, and Dan Winter just 2 weeks ago. My presentation on the flat Earth, when I get my ban, I've got 2-week strike ban on my YouTube channel, so it's going to go up, and you will see it. But in there, Brooks asks me. He says, because he's a hollow earther. And I agree that the Earth is hollow. Everything underneath is hollow. There are 7 more planes, in fact. But anyway, one of the things he said was he showed a picture of 4 astronauts with their hair, and they're up there in the in the space. Anyway, he goes, well, these guys, they just went out of space, and we should ask them, because they said that they saw the ball, they saw the Earth, they saw the curvature, they saw it and everything. And I thought to myself, oh yeah, shame they didn't take any photos or any footage. They could have made history. It's funny how you get to go out there, and you can prove one of the most amazing truths to humanity, but you forget to take your camera. I bet they brought their golf balls and their golf
this whole thing with the billionaires going into space, they were supposedly in space for 4.5 minutes, but they only show us 5 seconds of footage at a time. It's because it was filmed in a plane like this, right? And they do a parabolic arc, and they get this weightlessness, and it was horribly done. It was horribly edited together, but people just believe it. People just believe it.
Yep.
Crazy stuff. The other thing I want to touch on is plane routes. Plane routes prove the Earth is flat, right? This is from what does that say? It says Argentina to India, and it goes all the way up here. A stopover in Amsterdam, right? Is that what it says? I can't say. Argentina to India. And it goes all the way up here. Why doesn't it just go across Africa? It's because this is the route. Straight across, right? Here's another one. Hawaii to New York, there was an emergency landing, and they went to Seattle. Seattle's right on that line.
Yep.
Right? Here's another one. Dallas to Beijing, they stopped in Calgary for an emergency. Calgary's right on the line.
Yep.
Right? One more. London to Islamabad, stop in Pakistan for emergency landing. Oh, no, went to Moscow. I'm sorry. London to Islamabad in Pakistan and stopped in Moscow. Moscow's all the way up here. But that's hugely out of the way. Straight line.
Exactly.
The thing is, another one, Chicago to Doha, again, stopped in Moscow, way out of the way, straight line. When you look at the flight routes from the south, like if we look at going from Santiago to Australia, they go all the way up to north, across, and all the way down. All right.
Yep.
And again, straight line on a flat Earth. Okay.
Exactly.
How come never, when you're going from a northern location to another northern location, do they not go to the south, across, and then back up? Why wouldn't they do the same? Right? Never, when you're going from a northern location to another northern location, you never, ever cross the equator. But most of the time, when you're going to two distant southern locations, you cross the equator. Why is that, Santos? Do you know why?
Because the Earth is flat. Absolutely. I've done 2 trips like that in 2013 before I was a flat earther. So one was to Ecuador. So they flew me to Los Angeles, then Panama, then Ecuador. And I was pissed off at the guy. I said, why would you do that to me? I hate stopovers. Why did you just get a plane from Sydney all the way to Ecuador? Surely you could have done this. No, they're not available. It's impossible. This is the only way you can get here. I had to go to Los Angeles from Melbourne, Los Angeles, Panama, Ecuador. On a flat mat, it is directly
straight line,
straight, without a degree of variance. Then 2 months later, I had to go to Rome. I did a teaching syncretism tour of Europe in 2013, 2 months after, and the stopover was in China, Beijing. And I thought to myself, why the hell? This is ridiculous.
Straight line.
I'm going straight up from Australia to China, and then I've got to do a 90-degree turn to go to Europe. On a flat mat, it is from Melbourne to Beijing to Rome. It's almost dead straight on the flat Earth. There you go. Makes sense now. You see things that never would make sense.
Airplanes fly straight and level over the Earth plane, right? All NASA and FAA and CIA documents say they model with a flat, non-rotating plane. We found dozens of these things. Flat, non-rotating plane.
Yep.
Flat, non-rotating. What does that mean to you?
That means that you're actually training. If the globe Earth were right, according to the Globies, they are training pilots and astronauts with the wrong model. It'd be like tantamount to teaching your child how to ride a bike with square training wheels. And then when he graduates, you put the round ones on and say, yes, you had to learn that way, but now the real way is round wheels. There you go, son. Off you go.
Yeah. We've talked to many pilots. People are like, well, all the pilots would have to be in on it. No, pilots think that they're just following the GPS. They're landing and taking off, but many pilots are know it. And they're just like, yeah, we can't talk about it publicly. We'll be fired. We don't want to lose our jobs, right? You see what's going on with the COVID stuff that's happening. In Australia, they were confronting the police, and the guy was like, why are you doing this? And the guy's like, well, I have to. I have no choice. My wife lost her job. I'm not trained to do anything else. And he's like, join us. And he's like, I need my job. People have no idea, right?
Exactly.
And so
I just interviewed a pilot. You can see the interview on the Virtual Academy right there. An international commercial pilot's been flying for 30 years, has always known the Earth was flat. And his Facebook page is Pilot LX. You can see his hundreds of videos of the flat Earth as he flies around. He was threatened because some of the pilots heard him talking and they reported him, and he was threatened to lose his job. So his voice is disguised and it's only audio, but pretty soon I'll release that on my YouTube channel as well.
We had a female pilot on the Globebusters show for KLM, and she was grounded the next day, and we haven't heard from her since. And that goes with, any whistleblowers. There was a Polish astronaut a couple of years ago who in an interview said the Earth is flat. No one's been to space. And I haven't heard from him. Can't find him anywhere again.
That's right. They take him out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Surely everyone can't be in on it. Well, the same way that COVID had crept up on every nation that was sleeping on the earth, and all of a sudden there were all of these lockdowns. Surely all these governments can't all be in on the same lie now. Yeah, well, you've just seen it with your own eyes. Yes,
and
sure.
you know, even with local governments here, we just had in Connecticut, they just extended the emergency powers, act from Ned Lamont, and we have many of us, we went after them and we're like, on what evidence did you extend this? And they're like, you're a conspiracy theorist. We're like, what evidence did you extend these lockdowns, extend these mask mandates? And they're like, they wouldn't say anything. They're like, we don't have to answer you. You need mental help. That's what they tell us. And they're like, nice. We looked at the evidence that you gave us and it's all nonsense. Can you point out one of those things? And they're like, we don't have to respond to you. Like, it's crazy how these people are holding on to this lie. Like, I don't think they're all in on it. I think that they're brainwashed, they're hypnotized, and I'm not sure. I don't understand how they suck all these people in like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they should be able to see now how everybody gets in on it. Nurses know they're harming people with the V, but they're still doing it. Businesses who are enforcement and acting as enforcement officers now for the lockdowns by suggesting that you or demanding that you are vaccinated before you enter their premises. Everyone's policing the rest. Surely they can see how easy it is for everyone to be in on it. That is a cop-out to say, oh, surely it just shows you that person is unthinking.
Yeah. Hey, Santos, can I show you something? I know you've seen this. I want to share my app for a second. The people like, Brian Cox, he said, there are no flat earthers. There's no flat earthers anywhere in the world. Well, on the app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, there's flat earthers everywhere. These are all the flat earthers just here in the Northeast.
Yeah, plug that up, man. Make sure everyone knows the name of it.
And again, this is the amount of people that are getting together. Like, I could tap on one of those dots and send that person a text message. Bam. And people are meeting up, all sorts of stuff. The app is called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and it's by Blue Water Bay. It's literally, if you want to learn about Flat Earth, or most of the people listening to this already know about Flat Earth, it's a great way to quickly access information. If I hit the images icons, up come all of these, GIFs and images that you can share while you're talking to people. The frequently asked questions, up come all of the questions. Hey, what about eclipses? You click that, up opens a playlist of videos that YouTube will hide from you. Okay. It does a ton of things, tons of stuff, mud floods, mud fossils, biblical flat earth, my interviews, all kinds of videos. And it's a quick way to access, because if you Google flat earth, as you know, you could just get garbage. You get nonsense. So we got books by, many researchers that we know, some old books, all great stuff to have. And it's called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, which
I'm downloading it right now. So it's called.
Make sure you get the right one. Are you on Android or Apple?
Is that the one?
Yeah, that appears to be, yes. It's by Blue Water Bay. There's a knockoff by the Flat Earth Society people already on the Google Play, same name, everything. My app is the highest rated app in the App Store. It's in both the App Store and the Google Play Store. This is the on the app.
That's the one that's for $4.49.
Yeah, what is that? It's $3 in the US. Does it say by Blue Water Bay?
I can't see Blue Water Bay. Where do I click? Yeah, it is Blue Water Bay.
Blue Water Bay. That's it. Blue Water Bay.
Download. Got it.
Yeah, and it has playlists in different languages. We're adding more all the time. Shows you how a compass really works on the flat Earth. Yep. Just a great resource. I originally had made this app. And the other thing is every day there's a new featured video on the bottom left. And I tell people, this is the challenge I make. When someone says flat Earth is stupid, I say, take the challenge, watch the daily video every day for 2 weeks. And at the end of that 2 weeks, if you still think the Earth is a globe, I'll pay you 3 Bitcoins for 1 proof. But you have to hit the frequently asked questions first to make sure your question isn't already answered. And it is. It is. But I've had a few challenges, and we bring them up against a panel of people where we hear their argument, and then we show them how it's incorrect.
Beautiful. Hey, look at that image there. Do you think that's 400 miles out in the thermosphere?
Yeah, it has to be.
Well, no melting aluminium there.
No.
4,000 degrees Celsius.
Well, that's because it's 4,000 degrees Celsius, but there's no air, so you can't feel the 4,000, Santos.
That's right. Yes.
Right.
See? There's always a gravity.
This is my favorite here. This is what people don't get. This is being filmed out the window from the shuttle, which is on its way up over 20,000 miles an hour. This is falling back to the Earth. Now watch here, a little handkerchief's going to blow by. This is falling back to the Earth, and it's going to burn up before it gets to those clouds. Watch, here comes the handkerchief. There it goes. So it's showing you this thing isn't falling at hypersonic speed, but they're on their way up. This thing's falling. What kind of zoom lens do they have to keep that right there? This is clearly a Macy's Day Parade blimp.
Yep.
Okay. And they're filming it, and they're just filming it from a helicopter, or they're possibly filming it from underneath. Okay.
Right.
You don't know, but this is what they show us, and we have to believe that this thing's going to burn up. This is 40,000 pounds falling out of the sky. Baloney. Nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. You can see it's not real. It's all CGI. It's so easily. I was showing my partner yesterday. There was an image of the globe that turning, and you could see it at night. All the lights were lit up in Europe and everything, and you can see this thing turning towards you, right? And I said, can you show to anyone or show them how this is false? It's a CGI. It's not real. And she said, yeah, I can do it in many ways. But she didn't get to the point that I wanted to show her. I said, look, if that were real, what you're looking at, the land closer to you will be traveling much faster.
Yes.
Than the land.
There's no parallax.
Yeah. Right. So, but what you do is you see this ball, everything's turning at the same speed.
It's so ridiculous. It's unbelievable. Look at this. This is shooting out enough superheated thrust to lift 4 million pounds. What happened? This fence. You ever see what a tornado does to a fence? It ties it in knots like a pretzel. Okay, that's with room temperature 300 mile an hour winds. That's 20,000 mile an hour superheated plasma, and the fence doesn't even shake. Okay, this is the blimp going up. Okay, it rolls on its back because that big orange helium tank is lighter than the rocket ship helium tank. Right? And it's got some fireworks throwing out some smoke on the end, which is ridiculous. Right? Half the time, the rockets we see now have no smoke. What did they do? What fuel did they change? How come that happens? Because sometimes they launch something real, and sometimes it's just all CGI. I'll show you a CGI one in a second. But this one, if you just Google space shuttle launch, you'll find this video. And it's all edited together to make it look like there's people right there watching it. They're 10, 12 miles away.
Right.
But when the explosive bolts let these rockets go right there, you hear psh, at the exact second that you see it. What's wrong with that? This is 30 miles away. If it was only 20 miles away, that sound, if it could make it back to the camera, would take 90 seconds to get there after we saw it. Like lightning, thunder, and lightning. You see the lightning, and then you count the number of seconds. 20 miles is 90 seconds difference, but we see it at the exact same time. This is now we're just CGI. This is just nonsense.
Yeah.
Right? This is a bouncy house filled with helium. Look at it. It's blowing around in the wind.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
Crazy.
It is. It's clearly CGI.
Yeah.
Then as soon as you show a real photo of the flat Earth to someone, a real photo, like that one, they say, "Oh yeah, but that's CGI," and yet every single
Video, anybody?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to say to Brooks Agnew. Shame they didn't take some photos and some footage. They would have made history. They would have been the first Globies in history to prove that we live on a Santa ball. But they didn't, did they? I'm sure they brought their toothbrush and their handkerchief and their mask.
The big thing going around now is that they love is the Himawari satellite that delivers a picture of the Earth with proper clouds every 15 minutes is impossible unless it's a satellite in space. Or maybe you could have a really cool model of the Earth in a dark warehouse with a light lighting up, a distant light, and then film that and then get cloud data, live cloud data, and wrap it around it in Photoshop and deliver that every 15 minutes. You could do that, maybe. I mean, I think I could do that. Okay. But they're like, oh, that's impossible,
Look, they're just laughing at us. They're laughing at us, and they do it in so many ways. For instance, I've got an example here of some reporters. A guy talking about crime, and his name is Rob Banks.
Yeah, of course, all the time.
A guy talking about fuel, and his name is Phil McCann.
Yeah.
A guy talking about water, Andrew Drinkwater. A guy speaking about blizzards, the weather, Sarah Blizzard. I mean, these are, and I see the photo here of, there it is. There's Rob Banks. That's his name, and he's talking about crime. Rob Banks.
They do it all the time, and they're just laughing at us. The stuff that they do is so unbelievable that people don't believe it because it's unbelievable.
That's right. And they think, why would someone be so interested in fooling us? What is their vested interest? I'm not interested in going around misleading people with theories and things. I'm not. Why would they?
It's all about false idol worship, denying the creator, and becoming, controlled by them. And this is what we're in the middle of, a massive takeover. I mean, we're kind of joking about it at sometimes because you have to, otherwise you're going to go crazy. But so many people don't see what's going on, Santos. It's happening right now. Like, I never thought this would happen during my life. And it's happening right now.
Yeah.
Amazing, right?
It is. Sad, very amazing.
Yeah.
Staggering, man. It is staggering to think how people have been so duped and willingly.
But here's the thing. Knowing what we know, we're in this simulation. This isn't it. This is just a ride for our soul's journey, right? So it's not as, like if someone that's totally lost, that might have been their choice to come here and be totally lost,
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Exactly.
So I'll never, like, when somebody is down and horrible and miserable, I won't lower myself to their level. I'll stay up here and invite them over here. You can come up anytime you're ready. I'm here. I'm willing to reach my hand out for you, but I'm not going down there. I'm not going to become that low vibration thing that pushes things away. Low vibrations push things away from you, right?
Yes.
High vibrations allow it all to come in.
Yep.
Who's your worst enemy, Santos?
The Jesuits.
No, you're your own worst enemy.
True. I get you.
Yeah, probably the Jesuits too. I'll go with the Jesuits.
But it's true. We are our own worst enemies.
Because we are the ones that stop, that you're responsible for what you have in your life. Mm-hmm. Right. The people you hang around with are, you're vibrating them into your world. There's people that, I guess I used to be friends with. It's not that I'm not friends anymore, but we vibrate on a different level. I never see them. Okay. And it's okay. That's their journey.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Exactly. Move on.
Yeah.
Move on to higher frequencies.
anything else? You want to? Do we run? How are we doing on time? Or
that's entirely up to you. I'm good to keep going if you wanted to, but
I think we've covered. I think we've covered a lot. Yeah. Unless there's someone, is there anybody that's calling in or?
Well, we've been having technical troubles. I've been watching that all day. It hasn't been going live, has it?
Oh, so we're not live. That's fine. So you just put this up afterwards.
Yeah. So we'll just have to forget about it. But there won't be any questions, right? No. Yeah.
How about Daniel? Does he have any questions? I have a question for Daniel.
Yeah, he's not in the room, but let's hear it.
Did you find me a casita yet? Did you find me a house?
Yeah.
I want to come down. We want to come down for a month.
When are you coming?
I'm thinking February.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be a good time.
All right.
Yep. Do it. We'll find your place.
All right.
Easy.
Awesome.
Yeah. You'll love it.
All right, Santos. I guess that's it. You can find me at my YouTube channel is DITRH, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, just the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, DITRH. If you forget everything, just go to flatearthdave.com. That's where the app is. Make sure you get the right one. The app's $3. Okay. You get everything, but you have to subscribe if you want to be able to send messages, because that actually costs me money. But just read the reviews. I tell everyone, don't buy the app, just read the reviews.
Haha, nice. All right, David, that's my son's name, by the way, and my brother's. So I love it.
Nice.
Thank you for your sharings, your work, your effort, your standing by the truth, and all the enthusiasm you have for it, brother. It's contagious. And
Santos, you've been an inspiration to me too over the years. We only met recently, but your work has inspired me to go in certain directions. So we're all in this together. Yeah.
Everyone's so excited to have you on the academy. We're going to make history, because this is a slap in the face to the Justinians. Emperor Justinian shut down the Neoplatonic flat Earth astrological schools in 527 by edict. So this is the first Neoplatonic academy that's open. That is, the first tenet of it is geocentric stationary Earth. So you are definitely in the top 5 flat earthers right now living, and probably will be in history. So we've got you.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I'd love to have Eric Dubay.
I'd love you to have Eric Dubay. Maybe he would join. Reach out to him. I've never spoken to him, so I wouldn't know.
It'd be great. I call him Eric the Ball Breaker.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
All right. Thanks, Santos. See ya.
See you on the next one.
All right. Bye-bye.
You all love the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. The best tool to show your friends and strangers how the Flat Earth actually works. But are you ready for a Flat Earth app game changer? A new feature has been added. But first, a reminder of some of the existing features. Video of the day. World time. See what time it is all around the flat Earth. A true Earth compass that shows true navigation across and around the flat Earth plane. Weather. Tap for detailed local weather information. Know what phase and where the moon is at all times. Watch the sun travel between the tropics for the seasons. Select an amazing background. Add a countdown to your next big date. Video playlists in different languages. See the real trade winds circling the flat Earth. Top 21 frequently asked questions with quick pop-up video answers. Access to the best photos and GIFs at your fingertips. Flat Earth books and merchandise, and more. Now, the game-changer upgrade we've always dreamed of having. After a year in development, our app just went next level. You're now able to find Flat Earth app users near you. See where they are and send them an instant message in the app. Instantly arrange for a Flat Earther meetup. When activated, blue dots mark the location of the app users near you. You have 3 choices on showing your location. PP to pinpoint. This marks your exact location. CC for city center, which will place you within a few miles of your current location. Or turn off, which removes you from the map altogether. Use it when traveling, or when you're out for a day at the beach, or while eating out somewhere. Find out where other Flat Earthers are and connect. Find like-minded Flat Earth app users and regain your sanity. The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app is the best tool to show your friends and strangers how our Flat Earth actually works.